Hello from the void, it's Rose, welcome back to my channel and to something a little bit different. I'm making a CAS video, which I don't normally do because honestly I don't spend a huge amount of time in CAS, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a while and I've taken the opportunity of being stuck home with COVID this weekend to get started. Some of you may know that I wrote a challenge, it's called the Poison Garden Legacy. I wrote it probably almost a year ago now, and Morgan, who is Frolicking Gnomes here on YouTube, a friend of mine, has been playing it and it's been really fun to see. A couple other people played it too, which is awesome, but I really wrote it for myself because this is before I started my Not So Berry, and at this point I was very much like, all of my Sims were quite boring, they were all quite good, they were all quite family oriented and like nice, and I was like, I'm not getting a lot of depth in my game. I need some more nuanced characters. So inspired by this garden in Scotland where all of the flowers and plants in it are deathly poisonous, I wrote this legacy challenge. So there's 10 generations, each of them is based on a plant or flower, and it has characteristics that are drawn in part from obviously what's available in game, in part from the poison trait that each generation has, and in part from like the Victorian meaning of plants and flowers, because I'm fascinated by like that side of botany. So I've actually played it myself through to generation 3 in a save that I don't have any video of, and I've always kind of planned to do a filmed version of it sometime, but I haven't quite got around to it. I also then have been looking at doing an Apocalypse challenge recently, but it's so complicated. There are so many rules and restrictions. It was a challenge I really liked for Sims 3, but I don't think it works so well with Sims 4 just because it's more difficult to sort of have the level of world control you want to have, so like not have like nice buildings and stuff in the background. So I thought to myself, with a little help from friends, well, what if I do a Poison Garden Legacy for my channel, do the replay that I've been planning to do, but do it in a slightly apocalyptic themed world. So I'm trying to decide between putting it in Oasis Springs, which was my original plan, in a lot that I built that's like an abandoned gas station, or to wait until my romance stories, or whatever the hell it's called, comes out this week. And I noticed in Tartosa, the new world that comes with it, there's like an island lot that you could quite easily like barricade off and have that be the place where founder is barricading herself to try and recover from the apocalyptic event, whatever it was. So I haven't decided where I'm going to put her yet, but this is the sim that I am making in the video you are currently watching. You might notice in the bottom left hand corner there's two little faces. Those are the previous founders. So in the middle that's Lupine Ulwick, who was the first ever sim, the one I got to Gen 3 with her game. And then I had another go at making this founder last week, and made the sim on the left, who I really liked, but I wasn't quite happy with her. So then I'm trying again with actually I generated a child between the two of them, so we've got a little bit of my original save, a little bit of the one I made last week to try and make this new sim, who I'm actually really happy with her face. I'm going quite out there, I'm playing full berry in this save, so I'll tell you a bit about the generation in a minute, but I want her to have like a bit of a story to her face. So she's got the facial markings, she's got the scars on one side of her face, and she's got quite like an edgy vibe compared to my other save. As I said, this is a 10 generation legacy. I'll link it in the description below, but generation 1 is Aconite, which is also known as Monkshood or Wolfsbane, so it's the queen of poisons. It's a very well-known poisonous plant, and it's a sort of sage green colour plant with these dark blue, like purpley blue flowers. So that's the colour scheme that is relevant. And the rules for generation 1, there are a lot of rules. I'm not going to say all of them, I'm going to tell you the main ones. So the kind of blurb description is: raised by a paranoid mother, this sim has been taught to fend for themselves and to trust nobody. After running away from a dark event, so in this case the apocalypse, you live in almost complete isolation. Nature is your family and your protector, and your bite is worse than your bark. You swear you need nothing and nobody but yourself for the rest of your life. So the colours are green and blue. The poison trait for this generation is loner, so I'm going to make her a loner, loves the outdoors, which are the required traits, and I'm also going to give her the paranoid trait because I want to make her like really quite out there. I might change that, but I'm going to have a think about it. And the sort of broad strokes of this generation are, it's rags to riches generation, so she has to live in a private off-the-grid lot, so she'll have to like generate her own power. She's going to start out with next to nothing. Depending on where I start her, she'll either have like a completely blank lot or like a destroyed gas station vibe. The indoor space has to be a tiny home, so it has to qualify under the tiny home, and it's meant to be like hidden away and no one's meant to come there. So it's kind of a survivalist vibe. We're only going to make money by collecting and selling what we can make. And we're going to be limiting sort of when we can buy and sell stuff to make it really challenging. The aspiration she's going to have will be, I think I'm going to give her the gardening one. Although the challenge officially calls for either country caretaker or outdoor enthusiast, I have actually done both of those already, so I think I'm going to do something different, and that's something I'm very keen on for this challenge. It says right at the top of my rules, like, if you do decide to play the challenge, bend it to make it fun for you. It's meant to be tough, and it's meant to, like, the main thing is just use the poison traits. Everything else is kind of optional. I'm super happy with how this founder turned out. I really like her vibe, I really like her outfits. It's really hard to actually make something grungy looking in Sims 4 because it's such like a clean, cartoony style, but I think I've got as close as I can. I'd be really interested to hear where you think she would live, whether you think Tartosa on a sort of barricaded island or in a more like apocalyptic Oasis Springs kind of vibe. Let me know in the comments. And hopefully I will have part of this ready maybe next weekend. There'll be another Not So Berry that I've already done before then, and Not So Berry is going to stay my priority. This is really just so that sometimes I get really far ahead on Not So Berry with filming, and then I have like loads of episodes to cut together, so it's to give me a second save to play when that happens. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make this sim. Her name is going to be Eden Vervaine, Eden for like the Garden of Eden vibes that she tries to rebuild against an apocalyptic background. And Vervaine, it's actually part of the verbena family, or another name for the verbena family, which is not in itself poisonous. It's not a poisonous plant, but the oil from it, if consumed in too high of a concentration, is toxic. So that seems sensible for our loner sim who's trying to stay away from the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, do check out my other videos. Maybe consider giving me a like or a subscribe, because that is a nice thing to do for a person. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.